Hey, check up. Let's play some D. Welcome to episode 50, the big 5-0. I made it. Technically, I'm supposed to be at 50. I think 52 technically should have been like February-ish because I started at the Super Bowl, after the Super Bowl 2021. So I should be headed towards 60 actually, but I'll take 50. This is episode 50 of Play Some D, as I already said, with your host, Coach D. I am here with no big things for 50. I'm just excited that it's 50 and going strong. That's the best thing. I mean, I'm just super excited to. I've been waiting and thinking about this 50th episode, if I was going to change fonts or change the look, or I just decided not to. I mean, I didn't really need to. I just want to hit the content, hit the stuff, that the talking points, and just keep it rolling and just naturally go from there. I mean, from here on out, I don't think I'll ever milestone it. This one is important to me. I think 50 and 52 was the ones I thought about the most, mainly 52 because that's the year mark from when I started. Obviously, that means I did 52 weeks. So that was big. As far as from there on, it'll just be organically is how things go. But 50 is I wanted to go a couple different directions with it, and I decided to go sports. We're gonna recap the draft. We'll recap the first round of the playoffs. So I was gonna talk about the second round of the playoffs, but I'm not gonna do that this year. I think the playoffs are gonna be exciting. If as long as they are exciting, I'll recap them. I think that's what I'll end up doing here. I want to talk about the streaming services. I've talked about Netflix, I believe, a number of times. But I just want to talk about like the pricing, and Netflix had its drop. And I just want to talk about pricing and just the overall, just streaming, the streaming services, like the video content in itself. Just just really broad. I guess the best way to put it is just it's gonna be really broad. And then mental toughness. It's really, I mean, it's about mental toughness, but it's mental toughness is so, it's an overarching umbrella term that has to do with mental health and sports. And this specific article that I'm going to be referencing today is about running and the science of mental toughness. And I want to talk about it because I hate running and mental toughness and all that good stuff. But we'll talk about that. That'll be third quarter for sure. Actually, I believe it'll be fourth quarter. Actually, yeah, I kind of want to. That's my feel good one. Actually, I just want to talk about it. So I moved that to fourth. It was gonna be third, but I think fourth is better because I don't know how open or long winded I'll be with that one. But if you don't mind, hit the like button, sub button, notifications, comment, all that good stuff. Boom, boom, power is 50. We about to get it going, and we about to jump into the NFL draft recap. I did a mock first round last week, and I'm just gonna quickly run through the teams and their draft grades. I believe I did this last year. This year was a very unique draft in terms of how people expect drafts to happen in the NFL. Everybody expects quarterbacks and linemen and things of that nature, but it didn't really work like that for all the teams. I personally don't believe quarterbacks should be taken that early consistently. If you feel like a quarterback is the best player in the draft, I understand that. Take him number one. If you think somebody else is going to take him, I get all that stuff. But the quarterback frenzy is crazy. And this year it died off, but I guess next year is going to be another crazy year for quarterbacks. So it's just A through Z, so Arizona through Washington. And Arizona, I did like them getting Trey McBride as tight end. That was their first pick in the second round. I'm referencing everything from PFF because they seem to be the most in depth with everything as far as players, and they just do a good job with grading stuff and doing stuff. I think they're like what most people go to for like football stuff for sure. They got some edge rushers. They got a running back. They got cornerback and 2 guards. They got a B minus grade here. I just think they just had to fill in spots and just hope Kyler Murray can show up and play well. So they did trade and get Hollywood Brown, which is I guess that's a part of it in terms of they kind of drafted him, that they traded that pick for him. So their first round pick for him. So I think I think there could be in the BB plus range personally. Falcons got the Falcons. Everything's just weird for the Falcons. They just need everything. So I don't know. PFF gave them an A. I don't know. I mean, Drake London taking him an 8. I wouldn't have taken a receiver. I just wouldn't have taken a receiver first. I think they need a lot on defense, and they just need a lot of help. I mean, the only guys they got, so they got a wide receiver, a tight end, and a running back, and a quarterback. So they touched on basically every position, but 3 defensive players. I don't know. There's just so many holes for Atlanta that I think anything they drafted would have been an A. So, the Ravens, I think everybody feels the Ravens got the A+ draft. Everybody feels like they got the best safety, center, one of the best edge rushers, and they just filled in those key positions. They got a corner in the 4th round, and everything. The reason why the Ravens draft was so good, it shows they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks in the 4th round. So they got a lot of solid players. 4th round, 3rd and 4th round, so you build out your roster. So they got 6 fourth round players, which is probably cheating in some instance, because probably 3 of them guys are going to be good. But those first 3 picks going to be players that'll probably be playing with them for a while. But overall, they don't really have any down the field threats. I mean, Mark, your best offensive player is arguably your tight end. I mean, you could say it's Lamar Jackson, but I would argue that it could be Mark Andrews. You need some help. You most definitely need some help. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is coming back. He's nice. I mean, they're all about the same. J.K., Lamar, Mark, they're all good, but they're not just Tight end can't be your best player on offense. So Buffalo Bills, I really like the James Cook pickup. They needed a running back. They just need a stable running back. I don't know if he'll do it. I don't know if he's like Dalvin and gets hurt all the time. His brother Dalvin. So PFF gave him a B+. I do like they got a linebacker. I don't know if Baylor Spector will make the team, but he's 6 feet 233. Some physicality. I'm just big on physicality. And Terrell Bernard, 6'1", 244. That's a little light, but we'll see. They got a B+ from PFF. The Panthers got an A. They only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. 3 of those picks are 6th and 7th round picks. So, I mean, I don't know how this is an A draft at all. I mean, Brandon Smith out of Penn State. I mean, he was good. I did watch him a few times. He did jump off the tape of me. Matt Corral. I mean, in the guard, I wouldn't have gave it an A, maybe a B, but, the Chicago Bears get a B-. They only got 1 receiver for I don't know why I can't call his name. Their quarterback, Justin Fields, Jesus Christ. They got a corner, they got a safety. I like that. I like the corner and safety in the second round picks. And they got linemen for him. If anything, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 linemen, and I'm not mad at that at all. So even if he, at least he has some time to throw it, make some plays, it's a B-. I would agree. It's a B- draft for sure. And it's it's all about what you get like for your team. The Bengals show a B+. They only got 1 lineman, so I would say it's a B-. The Browns, PFF gave them a B. They just needed to fill in some of the holes. They got another running back. I never watched Jerome Ford play. They got 2 wideouts, which was smart. I like it. Dallas, B+ is PFF showing. They got a tackle. They got 2 tackles. an edge rusher, a wide receiver. I'm not mad at that at all. Denver Broncos, they show a B plus from PFF. Like they got the tight end because they do have two pretty. I just I'm tight ends, man. They are important, and when they're skimpy in drafts, I think you should get the good ones when you can. So they got in there and picked them up, and then they needed guys, and it looks like they got guys. So B plus sounds about right. Detroit Lions, I mean, it shows an A plus, but they need everything in the book. So I think once again, anything would have been A plus. Green Bay Packers show a B plus. They picked up two receivers, Christian Watson, not just the little guys, just whatever. They were talking, but they should have got one of those other really good receivers. When you lose probably the best receiver in the league, you should probably go and try to get one of the best receivers in the draft, but they didn't. Houston Texans needed everything. Shows a B plus. And when you need everything, they got a tackle at the 6th round. They got Stingley. They got guard. Got a wide receiver. Got a safety. Running back. They need everything. So it's just the Colts shows a B plus. Nothing here that really stands out. I like the interior linemen. I got two interior linemen, which I think they totally need. Jaguars needed everything. C plus. The Chiefs shows an A plus, and they got a lot of stuff. Chiefs are already right there. Should have been in the Super Bowl and should have won the Super Bowl. Choked. Got a corner. Got a wide receiver, another little wide receiver that I just don't think they need more little guys. Whatever. 2 corners, a tackle, 3 corners, and a safety. I don't know. They needed some physicality. I just thought they desperately needed physicality. They got a 206-pound safety, and the guy from Marshall is I don't even see this guy. I don't even know what that guy is. He doesn't link to anything. The Raiders show a B plus, guard, running back, I like the interior linemen. They got 2 interior linemen back to back. The Chargers show a B. The Chargers needed to put in. I like the 2 cornerbacks they got late. I don't know. Those guys might not make the team, but I like the effort there. Isaiah Spiller was a good running back, and I thought they definitely should have gotten a running back, and then just guys to make sure Herbert stays upright. They did get a guard in the 1st round. The Rams, those draft picks, got a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks, and they're all 3rd through 7th. Not mad at it. Just hopefully 3 of them sticks. C plus. None of these guys look like anybody I'm familiar with, and like I said, they just hope a couple stick. The Dolphins, B minus. They didn't really have any picks. The Vikings show a B. The Vikings, I felt like needed a little bit of everything. Another wide receiver. It's a little late for a wide receiver. I would have got one in the middle somewhere. Actually, I don't know what the middle of the draft looked like for wide receivers. And then that tight end. Every time I see a tight end, I'm like, somebody was doing their homework. Patriots, a D. They got some guys that they didn't expect them to get. I'm not going to rate the Patriots at all because Bill Belichick, he picks everything great but the skill positions. So anything but the skill positions, I am on board. He got a guard, 2 corners, an edge. 2 guards, an edge, 2 corners, tackles. They'll probably, those guys were evaluated well. The wide receiver, the 2 running backs, maybe not so much. The Saints only had a few picks, 5 of them. They got Olave. It's really what mattered. Defensive-wise, their defense is stacked. The Giants had a ton of picks, but this shows a B minus. Giants needed everything, so I'm not even going to. Jets needed everything. Shows an A minus. They did get Sauce, Garrett, and Jermaine Johnson, which are good picks. And Bryce Hall, which is Iowa's running back. They got good players. They got good players for sure. They got good players. Tight end. Jets got good players. I actually know most of those guys. Eagles show an A. They only have 5 picks. I wouldn't say it's an A. I mean, it's just Nakobe Dean. If Nakobe Dean is nasty, if his injuries aren't, doesn't cause an issue, then it'll turn out. Steelers getting Pickett and not Malik Willis was just weird. But Steelers, like the Patriots, I'm not going to evaluate because they just do such a good job. The 49ers shows a B on PFF. Not mad at this. The running back was ridiculous. I don't know why they took a running back. They have a bunch of them. But tackles, wide receiver, just in case, I guess. Debo's probably out of there. Seattle took a running back in the second round. Crazy. They got a ton of them. I don't know how good the Tariq Woolen is, but he's a big corner, and 6'4", 205 signed me up. So I like that pick. They showed an A- for them. Tampa got players. Tampa just needs to fill them in. That division should be easy. The Titans lost A.J. Brown, but they got Treylon Burks. They did get Malik Willis. So they showed a B plus, and then the Commanders shows a C plus. They need a good amount of stuff, but they got positions they need. They got a wide receiver. They got an interior lineman. Their line's good. They just didn't get anything on the O-line, which I feel like they probably should have. Quite long-winded, but that's the draft. Looking through the draft and 32 teams is just going to take a little bit of time. But the PFF is up. I didn't put it up here next to me because, I didn't think, most people would be interested in this segment of Play Some D, probably know the draft picks and would just be whatevering to watch because I just wanted to look it over. I watch way more of this draft than I've watched in most drafts, mainly because I thought it was fascinating that people was gonna have to grind out players and really be looking and finding guys, and I think that might have happened mostly. And I think a lot of these players are gonna help a lot of these teams for sure, especially. It was rich in the grinding position, the position to really make your teams good. So some teams gonna come out of this with some better grades years down the line. All right, for second quarter, I'm just gonna recap the first round of the NBA playoffs. I'm going number 1 overall, Phoenix first through bottom of the Eastern Conference bracket, Boston at the end. Phoenix and New Orleans was quite interesting. Devin Booker got hurt. Chris Paul was game on, game off type of deal, and the Pelicans looked pretty poised there. And then Book gave them a little boost there in Game 6 to finish them off. Dallas and Utah. Dallas should have had them out of there in five. It was over in 6. Utah. I've been saying for years, Utah. That roster is going to do the same thing every single season. They can win 70 games. They're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. Golden State should have swept the Denver, but they won in 5. Minnesota and Memphis is the one that I could talk about all day. Literally could have had a segment on Memphis and Minnesota. First time I've ever seen a team win 5 games, but actually only win 2. It sounds crazy, but it's so true. They basically dominated the series except one game. They got blown out in Game 2. They got blown out, but they dominated every other game. They dominated Game 3. Up but 2 20-point leads in Game 3. They were up big in Game 4 and snuck out of there. And then 5 and 6, they choked off Game 5 and literally choked Game 6. And I figured they would after they choked Game 5 off for sure. I just didn't think they would have ended up, if they had won the series, they would have ended up really actually winning, 6 games, but really only winning 4. And I just don't think that's just too much work. It's too much work, and then psychologically knowing if it was a Game 7 then they would have been knowing they would have been playing Golden State. I think it would have just been too much. It would have just been a lot on them. So I thought that would have been interesting. And then just their experience and stuff against Golden State, I just probably wouldn't have wanted to watch that. I just felt like they were better than Memphis. I think they were better, more athletic. They just didn't have that mental or the experience to beat them. They didn't know how to close out games. Anthony Edwards is his second season. He's the best player on that team. They think it's Cat. It's not Cat. It's Anthony Edwards. D'Angelo Russell's should be just managing the game now, but he's still kind of doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing. But they'll figure that out. They should be good. Hopefully they don't regress and fall back. Hopefully they pick it up. Miami and Atlanta, that was 4-1. Atlanta won game 3. Yeah, and they should have won game 3. Trae Young just didn't play well, and if he doesn't play well, they're not gonna have a chance to win. Philly and Toronto was just weird. Toronto didn't fight nearly as much as they should, especially in the first 2 games, and then they choked game 3. But yeah, they choked game 3 off, but then they won game 4 and then blew them out. It was just a weird series. I'm glad Philly won. Toronto I don't think they had the players to play against the Heat. And then just the Philly and Miami matchup was just so juicy. But now Joel's in hurt, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back. I mean, he'll put a mask on and he'll get out there and play. Hopefully Philly shows something. James got something in the tank with the Heat are about to blitz them, but not to talk about the second round. Shouldn't be talking about the second round. But I'm just saying that in terms of I didn't want to see Toronto and Miami, and we're not going to see that. Doc didn't blow the lead because I might have had a segment on Doc Rivers. The 3-6 matchup, the Bulls got one. Could have been a sweep. Milwaukee probably needed the extra game. Middleton got hurt, which is big moving forward. Milwaukee gets hot and cold, so it'll be big moving forward. He's also one of the reasons they're hot and cold, because he gets cold and that causes issues because he's the second in the offense. So when he gets cold, he kind of stagnates the offense. So we'll see how they adjust with him out. And then Brooklyn was it was really honestly closer than most people feel like it was. Game 1 could have went a different direction. Nets were up a good amount going into the fourth quarter, I believe, in game 2. They could have won that one. It was really closer than it looked, but Brooklyn just didn't have the players or really my word in sports for 2022 going forward is physicality. The games, football and basketball, have gotten so finessed. The physicality is lacking, and when you just have a good amount of it, not even over the board. When you got a good amount of physicality, it really shows. And Brooklyn has 0 physicality, and that's essentially why they got swept. If they just had some kind of presence, just resistance, then they would have at least won 2 games regardless. And then they almost got out of, they almost won game 4. They were fighting for sure. So it's shaping up to be a really good playoffs. With the matches being Phoenix, Dallas should be good. Memphis and Golden State will be good. Boston and Milwaukee will be good. And I believe Miami and Philly will be good too. So only one series that could be iffy, just depending on how Booker is that Dallas and Phoenix just don't really know. So that is that, and this is halftime. For halftime, the halftime show for Play Some D episode 50. And we have an introduction to third quarter. And third quarter is about the streaming services. And mainly around, Netflix reported they lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter. Really not surprising. And the losses that any streaming service gets that happens, and it's really such a big talking point because it affects the markets and how much money people lose, stuff like that. So I get that part of it. But like the understanding of Netflix having a $10, basically $16 and $20 service is quite expensive. Like, and that's really what I'm speaking of here with the streaming services. So just running through all of the plans, those are Netflix's. Disney's is $8, $14, and $20. The 14 and 20 are bundles. Apple TV has the $5 one. Amazon Video doesn't really count because it comes with Amazon Prime, so they're cheating. So I take Amazon out of the equation because it gives you more value than what it is. So it puts in just say split it in half. Say $7 for streaming service and $7 or $7.50 for streaming, or $8 for streaming, $7 for free 1 day whatever shipping. That's convenient for people. That's big. Like that, you order enough stuff in a month and you get it the next day and you really need it, you cover that for sure. Not saying you don't with streaming movies and stuff like that, but that's specific to your life, where TV is entertainment. It's just different. Hulu goes $7, $13, $70, and $75. Sling $35 and $50. YouTube TV is $65. HBO Max is $9 and $14.99. I've always said that there has to be some kind of cap on the prices that people have to pay for these things, especially when there's a bunch of different services and you have to decide where you're not going to rack up a $15 Netflix and then not everybody, $15 Netflix, $13 Disney Plus, a $5 YouTube. We're already at $35. And then you say Amazon Prime, now we're at $50. And you say, I want to do a little bit of Hulu. That's $13 more, $63. And I want HBO Max, but I'll do the one with the ads. That's $75. You got all the streaming services. Now, mind you, that's kind of what we used to pay for TV, for cable and whatnot. But now it's like I can't watch all this stuff, and it's literally impossible to watch all this stuff. So how do I get $75 worth of my money just to say, I have it just in case I want to watch it? So I think the key is the greed. I mean, that's basically where I'm getting to with this, is that all Netflix technically has to do is make it $10. Stop making all the blockbuster stuff, Red Notice, paying billions of dollars for stuff. You get a couple a year. People are going to watch. People are going to watch the good stuff. They'll be happy to pay $100 a year and get 10 good movies or whatever you decide to do, and 10 good TV shows, because you can't only watch so much stuff in a month. And if you did 10, if everybody wasn't so greedy and you did do 10 for Netflix, 10 for Disney Plus, 10 for HBO Max, now we have 40, 12 for Hulu or whatever. It's not too, you could pick three, $30, $30 for three. You could do something like that. People feel more better than spending $70-something when you're not getting $70 worth of content. You can't digest it, especially if you work or got a family. Like, maybe if all your kids or somebody else, or you're sharing stuff, and then that's the other thing too, is that, sharing passwords and all that good stuff. Like the accounting and just not accounting, just the greed. They just have to pull back on just wanting to get people's money, and investors. And I'm sure Netflix is probably down bad with investors. That's probably why they have to keep hiking the prices, because they do. I know a lot of investors put a lot of money in, want to get return on their investments. So I get that too. So they may just be running down a rabbit hole of, uncontrollable, and Netflix may become the blockbuster of streaming. They started it off, and they'll be just running up out of there. Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Hulu will gladly take over with Prime and Apple TV just gobbling up whatever comes from the bottom. But Netflix just has a bunch of stuff on there that, it's a good marketplace in a sense, but you can't be taking that much money, spending that much money, not having that much good stuff, and then saying you can't share it. It's just a bad look. It's greed. People notice it, and it can get you shut down. So basically, I just think the streaming services will overall, I think people will dial back. I think everything but Disney Plus, because kids, I think Disney will just keep growing. As Disney always does. People love Disney. So they're going to gobble up a lot of the market, especially, I said, with children. And Netflix does have to cancel stuff. Firing people is weird. They do have to cancel some stuff, I believe. Just dial it back on spending, because content is at an all-time high, and they're not the only ones that's going to be cranking it out. So, a mixture of quality over quantity is important, because you got to pay for stuff even when it's bad. You're still probably paying more than what you get back from it, and I'm sure if you dug down on those numbers, that's probably the case for Netflix. And that's why you lose subscribers, because if things were good, people would be picking Netflix and probably Disney Plus and being saying, I don't really need anything else. HBO Max is a little bit different because it's just got the library of content, but they do have good TV shows. They do have good stuff and good movies, obviously, with Warner. But, people, I think Disney's going to be the leader, and then there's going to probably be like two under them. It's just not enough room for, it's 8. These are the top 8. Like, it's not really space for 8. And I just think I think cutting prices is the way to go. Apple at $5 is incredible. I didn't even know it was $5. I just saw it. So Apple was just like, let me just get a little bit of it. I ain't gonna be greedy. Just let me get a little bit of this pie, baby. So that's third quarter. Netflix is going to continue to fall. Just be interested to see how they fight. So fourth quarter is interesting. It's an article in the MIT Press Reader. Article is published on April 26th. It's about running and mental toughness. And I really kind of felt the article, because running is a lot of mental toughness. I hate running. I've always hated running. I love running, just like, in terms of getting chased. We used to play chase all the time. Football, basketball, sports. Every sport pretty much involves somewhat of running from people. I said hide and go seek, and we played manhunt, back in the day, and tag, and all the different stuff we did pretty much involved running outside. So now running as an actual activity to go, I'm going to run a mile. No shot. I'm not running a mile. No, thank you. Have no reason to. No benefit for me to. I do run a good amount, or I wouldn't even say a good amount. I run sometimes after I work out at the gym, and that's just like ligament maintenance. Like, even in this article, it talks about training your mind to run makes your bones and muscles and ligaments stronger, and that's kind of the idea. I just use it use it or lose it. I believe in that statement. So I'm like, I can still run. I still run really, really well. I can get out there and play sports with the youngest of the youngest. So I want to keep my running together, but I'm not going to be out there running for 2 miles. Not me. So to do that, though, for people that do it, I do think it's mental. The article also mentions, when you first start getting out there running, you're going to get tired fast. Your legs going to get tired fast. And then you eventually build up this, if you continue to do it, you train your brain, different things, and that's all mental. And an aspect of mentally training yourself to do that, you could kind of start to transition into how sports and training and activities and wanting to do stuff can like jog that mental capacity. I think mental toughness is important, and I think a lot of times people used to always say, like, get your kid in sports, get your kids doing something, get your kids competing, and the idea, like, a lot of people don't like participation trophy or thing like that because it affects mental toughness. It's like, oh, well, if I don't run well, I lose. There's also an aspect of it where you can go to the OD side that I am going to make sure I am first place, even if that means tearing my ACL or whatever it may be. I'm gonna push through the pain. I'm gonna push through this. I do think so. There's also an aspect of knowing when to stop. And in this article, there's actually a section of it's called what do they call it? Mental fatigue, mind over muscle. I saw the mystery behind stopping, and that's important. Sometimes when you develop that mindset, self-regulation. Sometimes when you develop that mindset of I'm going to do something, and when you are that mentally tough to do it, you can go too far. We always can go too far. We eat too much. We OD on stuff we shouldn't OD on. Look at the politics, as I always talk about. Like, we're just, we don't have to go that far. Like, there has to be some kind of moderation. Now, yeah, if you're training to be a world-class athlete, at some point you do have to push yourself and see how far you can go. Sometimes it is survival of the fittest. Sometimes it is the best, the person with the best genetics wins. Sometimes the person with the best ligaments. Sometimes you tear ACL, or you do something to your knees, or you just can't physically go. That happens to some people, and sometimes, I'm sure some of the best runners just never had the opportunity because their bodies didn't allow them to. But you have to know that. It's not, you can't, I guess you could if you had the money, reconstruct your body, but then you're kind of cheating. You can't be a robot running on a tangent here. But still, it's like, if you go based on your body, what you have, you trained it, you worked it out, you got it ready, and it broke down on you or something of that nature, mental toughness is not going to win, but it can also get you to be even more deteriorated. So there's that side of it, and then there's, like I said, that side I was talking about before with participation trophies and kind of that weak-minded aspect of it is that, I can't run that far. Me personally, I just hate running. If I had to do it, I would prepare myself to do it. If I enjoyed it, if I enjoyed running, I would prepare myself to do it. If running was something that just was exhilarating, some people call it like runners. There's like a concept to it where like runners just get into the zone and it's just amazing. It's just like, if I got that and I liked it, I'm like, I want to do that. It's something I want to do. It's basketball terms. Like, you hear the, swish, you get in the zone where you just can't miss. Yeah, you like that. I just, you're not going to say, I'm not going to shoot it again. No, you are. You want to shoot it again. You like the sport. You like the competition. So you're going to keep playing, keep working on the jump shot because you want to get that feeling over and over again. And that's that idea of having some form of mental toughness. And I think running and sports, to kind of move like the conversation along, running, sports, getting yourself prepared for certain things, I think is key. And I do think it has become lacking in terms of just how the last 10, 15 years of people have been raised behind the internet and behind not having to do anything. When I grew up, there was no YouTube. There was no shortcut. There was no way, like, and if I pop off, if I'm the neighborhood or the city popular guy or the guy everybody wants to see, I'll just put myself on television, basically put myself in front of everybody and make money off of it. And if I don't make it doing that, then I'll just kind of ease my way into something else. Like, I believe that has, for sure something to do with, mental toughness and just the things that have to be done. Things are not done with the sense of urgency as they used to be, and especially, back in the 60s, 70s, like, stuff had to get done, and living and, progressing and building, that foundation, things of that nature was essential because you didn't have much. Now you can fall into something accidentally, and people recognize that and embrace that idea that, man, I could be rich tomorrow. Today I'm not going to do anything about it, though, and then I'll just shoot one rock at that, or I'll just aim at it tomorrow and see what happens. And if it don't happen tomorrow, I'll try again the next day. mental toughness is key. And I think sports, activities, challenging things, running being one of those. I hate running, but I respect everybody that runs. Because that's, beastie. You see some of the I don't even call them out of shape, but just people you wouldn't expect to be great runners just dust me. So I think mental toughness, the idea of encapsulating that, helping people mentally, because I think mental health and things of that nature are super real. But I think helping people train their brains in some aspect that could redirect it towards just helping a person's mental state psychologically. I think there's a couple different angles to go with it, and I think things like training and stuff like that is a very good way to help people. I thought this article was cool. I read through it, and I'll read through it again, try to catch some snippets. That says from the MIT Press Reader. Good article. And that's a good episode. Play some D. This was a 50, the big 5-0. I was going to talk about basketball in a different aspect, with just like competition and competitiveness, but I didn't really want to go there yet. I want to see how the playoffs play out and see how some of the other guys kind of react to it. Just the competitiveness when they're on the floor is cool, but I think most of the guys just don't. After the games, it's kind of different, but it might have always been like that. I just may not have paid attention. NFL draft, it's one of the biggest events. I mean, it's every team Super Bowl. Only two teams get to play the Super Bowl. This is every team Super Bowl. So it's a big deal. Mental toughness, big deal. And streaming services, I just think that price point, they got to figure that out. And then content, they got to figure that out. It's just they don't need to just pile it all on us. I think that quality is really starting to be very important. So with that being said, once again, thanks for watching. If you don't mind, hit the like button, comment, let me know how you feel about your team's draft. If you liked it, if your team's still in the playoffs, if the running, whatever, mental toughness. And did you drop Netflix this month? I don't have Netflix. As we always do, be safe, be great, do your thing until the bell rang. That's a quote from one of my teachers back in high school. I don't know why I said that. But as always, until the next one, I holla.